I actually went out to Omaha Beach this weekend. I got to tell you something. If you ever get a chance, you got to do it. It was, you know what? It's not really something I can express in words. It was unbelievably moving. It was iconic. I don't know where to start. We set up a private tour because I can't stand. I hate group tours because when you go on group tours, you know, aside from seeing fat people in jean shorts, there's going to be that douche who has read up on the subject and is actually going to try to out nerd the nerd giving the fucking tour. And, you know, which all it does is just drag the tour out. Like, you know, I mean, I'm into it, but I don't need to hear every fucking nook and cranny, you know? Just give me the fucking bullet points. Give me the highlights, all right? And with that, if I want to go deeper into this shit, I'll do it on my own, you know? But you know, there's going to be somebody standing there dressed like some Civil War reenactor, right? Just that shit. So I don't want to deal with that. And then also, if you have a question, you don't have to wait for anybody else. So that's basically why I choose to do it like that. So basically, you show up, and the driver takes you. We stayed in, is it Bayou or Bayou? I don't know where the hell it is. I don't know how you say it. So I rented a car. Once again, control freak. I don't have to take a fucking shuttle out there with another 20 douchebags. I don't. And this is something that I've noticed now that is international. Anytime you rent a car one way, that location is going to give you that car that nobody wants to rent. It's going to be a fucked up color. It's going to be a fucked up model, something about it. You know what these people rented? We're two people. That's all we are. They gave us this giant Mercedes van, like a 9-passenger fucking van. And I'm driving through these little European streets with this thing, with like 2 pieces of luggage all the way in the back. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Bill, it's a Mercedes. This is what you don't realize about Mercedes, is they have a lot of low-end fucking underpowered cars that they don't send over to the United States. A lot of those, they just feel they can't compete with Hondas, Toyotas, and I don't know, whatever the Americans are putting out or what. But this thing was an underpowered hunk of shit with the Mercedes emblem on the steering wheel. And I can't even tell you how many fucking times I clipped a corner trying to drive this bus around the corner. So, long story short, I'm driving this giant fucking Partridge Family Mercedes-Benz truck down the damn street. We get to our hotel. Everything's great. And we take a quick cat nap, and then this guy shows up, this guy from Scotland. And he took us on this unbelievable tour of basically Omaha Beach and this other area, some point. I already forget the name of it. And this guy was an absolute maniac, absolutely obsessed with World War II and obsessed with D-Day. And he had all these photographs that he'd blown up from other books and was talking about misinformation. And it was an incredible tour. The first point of the tour, you actually, like the pillboxes and stuff, you know, where the Germans had their machine guns, or it was a little barracks, or it was a place to keep their ammunition, they're still there. You know, the guns aren't there, but basically where they were is still there. And you get to walk into these things. Like on the ground were these cement bags that Germans had put, you know, when it's rained and, you know, and it all turned hard. And now, like, you can't even, if you look at them, they actually look like rocks. They look like white rocks, but they're actually bags of cement. And you're just looking there going like a German soldier set those fucking things down. And then all the events happened. And here they sit 70 years later. It gave you goosebumps. And this guy knew all the history. He goes, this is where Private so-and-so came in. He threw a grenade. You can see the shrapnel on the wall. And you're looking, and there's the fucking shrapnel. We walked into this one bunker, and right to the right was a little, like probably just enough for someone to stand. And it had like, and it was about 2 inches below the floor that you were at, as far as like where the floor was there. And it was a little shower. And our tour guy said Hitler got gassed in World War I. So he made sure that all of these bunkers had showers in case, because I guess, it was such a horrific experience for him, that he made sure like none of the troops were going to get caught out there like he did. And it was this really bizarre, like, human moment from one of the most evil people on the fucking planet. It's like, wow, that guy actually did something nice. So there you go, people. He's not all bad. When you walk into a German bunker, he made sure they all had a little shower. So there you go. There's one good thing. He still has 6 to 9 million, bad things in the other part of the ledger. But he does have that one thing. I bet that was the thing after he blew his brains out, if there is an afterlife and God was giving him shit. I bet he just kept coming back to that. But I put und shower, I did not have to do that. He lost his temper and started yelling at God. God just sat there shaking his head. But part of him had to be like, I made this. What the fuck was I doing on that day? And then he just presses that little button under his desk. Why would it be under his desk? Like, what's he, nervous? He's running shit. He's like the Don of all Dons. I bet he just let him talk. Sit there stammering, dancing around sweating before he fucking opened the trap door. Anyways. So we're walking in and out of these bunkers, and oh my God, and even on the way there, this tour was so good. Like, they had all like those, I guess English people call them hedgerows. Back in the day, to mark your property, you grew these giant, like, rows of bushes. I forget what they're called, but the guy actually let us get out and touch some of them. They had like these thorns on them that would just rip you to shreds. And, they were like 7-8 feet high and could be upwards of 8 feet across. There was no way to get through them. So I know in that Saving Private Ryan, they showed a little bit of the fighting that was going on. But you couldn't even see through them, even today, most of them. You couldn't even see through them. So as you're walking up the road, right on the other side of you could have been an entire, I don't know, what do you call it, a platoon, a division of Germans. It was absolutely insane. So they used to send patrols out. They'd hack a little way through it, and they would send a patrol into these fields. And I guess the rule of thumb in war, which I don't know anything about it, is they never shoot at a patrol, because then you only get like 3-4 guys. What you want the patrol to think is that it's safe, and then they wait till the entire company basically marches 3/4 of the way into the field. When they have nowhere to hide, they would just mow them down, and the Germans would put like just a couple of nests, machine gun nests, could handle each one of these fields. I mean, it just seemed like after you got off the beach, you're thinking like, okay, now it's going to get a little easier, and it was a shit show basically. So, anyways, so we saw the initial area, whatever the fuck that was called, and then he's taking us down to Omaha Beach, and I got to tell you, it was like, it's crazy. It's a famous beach. You look at it, and it's undeniable that's Omaha Beach. And this guy broke down the entire thing. I didn't even feel worthy of like walking onto the beach. Like it had like that level of effect on me, which I I didn't know what I was going to think when I got there, but it was it's incredible. And he shows you the pictures, and then he starts pointing out on the bluffs where the Germans were and how few that there were. But I guess the bombing run, we fucked it up. We didn't do it right on that one, where we did it much better on the other beaches, Utah and all that. But we, I don't know. It was. If you can somehow get over here and do it, all you got to do is just get the plane ticket. You can stay in a hostel, have a banana. There's your fucking breakfast. Jump on a train and go out there. I highly suggest anybody who's ever thought about doing it, you will not be disappointed. And then in the end of the tour, he takes you up to the cemetery, the American cemetery. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And they play taps at the top of every hour. And right as we got there, probably there for like 3 minutes, and you're looking at all of those graves, all of those people that died trying to stop this maniac. And then they play taps. I mean, it's overwhelming to say the least. And then, of course, there's also the English cemetery, which a lot of Americans don't know because we watch the American movies and they make it seem like it was just the Americans who were over there, as always. But, something, you know what? This English guy downstairs was laughing, giving me shit about how all the American movies, like even Argo, he goes, the English and Dutch helped you guys out with that. And I go, well, you guys will make your movie then. And he's laughing. I'm like, you guys do it too. Because one time I was on Opie and Anthony, the great Opie and Anthony radio program with little Jimmy Norton. And these guys came in from England and they had made a documentary about the late, great beast of a comic, Bill Hicks. And they were talking about how Bill Hicks went to England. That's where he had to go to get his buzz going, and then came back and took America by storm. And he's sitting there saying, he said, one of the documentary guys was going, and while England was listening to Bill Hicks, people in America were busy wasting their time listening to Carrot Top. And I forget if I said it on air or not. It's like, dude, you realize that you're in America right now. You do realize that. So if you're going to spin these yarns, like, I was alive during this fucking time. Is that what I was doing? And I'm not shitting on Carrot Top either. I think the guy's funny. But, like, I was like, I thought I was listening to Carlin and Sam Kinison. I thought I really liked Sam Kinison. And evidently I didn't. Everybody does that shit. We did everything and we understood. And these guys were idiots. So fuck you, England. You do the same shit. Anyways. We ended up going to this museum when we were there that had all this video and all these pictures and that type of stuff. And what was really cool was I'd never seen footage like this. I think a lot of it was, French footage. And first of all, their museum was way more inclusive. Like it had the American troops, British troops, Canadian troops, and the French troops and everything. A lot of people break the French balls. My impression of a French soldier, and you just put your arms up like you're surrendering. I guess it took the Germans like about 5-6 weeks to take over France. And in that time, France lost 90,000 troops. Not like casualty, like dead. That's not even just the wounded. So they put up a hell of a fight. And I got to be honest with you, if we lived that close to the Germans, we would have fucking lost. Okay? And we would have needed somebody to bail us the fuck out too. And I know right now you're going, give me a fucking break. It's like, fuck you. Okay? To this day, look at their top-end cars. Look at our top-end cars. They're still kicking our ass. I know the Cadillac and I know the Corvette. That's probably the best we have. But it's nowhere near what they were doing.
That was another thing that was great on the tour. They were talking about how much better their weapons were. So when we fucking kill a German, we'd pick up their machine gun because their shit was better than ours. We basically, we fucking wore them down. We came. What happened? How we finally took the beach on D-Day? You know what? Is they ran out of bullets. We just kept coming. This fucking, they call this guy the butcher of Omaha Beach. He was in this position that was, they put a gun into the back corner of a hotel. And he was just fucking, doing what Verzi wanted to do with with this goddamn, I don't know what the fuck millimeter he had. And he went through 7 hours of ammunition in fucking 3 hours. By the end, they were shooting like that weaponry where every third bullet's a flare. And that's how we ended up knocking out. We finally could see where the fuck they were. I mean, it was just what happened on that day. You can't even fucking put it into words. And to have a moron like me trying to explain it, I can't even imagine it. I can't even fucking imagine. And as much as like the beginning of Saving Private Ryan shows it, like just to actually just rather than watching some video or movie of it, to just be standing on the beach and this guy's telling you the stories, showing you the pictures, dude, it was unbelievable. Unfucking believable.